The Oklahoma Sooners make softball history. The governor signs a bill allowing religious instruction during school hours, and details on how the transition to managed Medicaid is going. This is the KGOU AM News Brief for Friday, June 7th. I'm Nick Daniels. The Oklahoma Sooners made NCAA softball history last night. OPMX's Ryan LaCroix reports on OU's fourth consecutive national championship.
Ground ball, Brito backhands to first. And the Norman conquest is complete with the historic four-peat for Oklahoma.
The 8-4 victory over the Texas Longhorns at the Women's College World Series in OKC secured the Sooners' place in softball lore, doing something no other NCAA team has done. It was a team effort, too, with all 9 batters reaching base at least once and 5 pitchers deployed to try to stifle the Longhorns. Ultimately, the senior-laden team leaned on its underclassmen, with a 2-run homer by freshman Cassidy Pickering, a 3 RBI double by junior Sidney Sanders, and a 2 RBI single by freshman Ella Parker, accounting for 7 of the team's 8 runs. Head coach Patty Gasso, who has now coached all 8 of OU's national championship squads, says the title is a high endpoint for the winningest senior class in Division I softball history.
They've cemented this program in history. They've cemented themselves in history. And history, can change, but these guys will never, ever be forgotten.
In Oklahoma City, I'm Ryan LaCroix.
Governor Kevin Stitt signed a bill into law this week requiring Oklahoma public schools to excuse students from class to receive off-campus religious or moral instruction. State Impact's Beth Wallace reports on one congregation ready to capitalize on the move.
House Bill 1425 directs district school boards to adopt policies that excuse students for no more than 3 class periods per week or a maximum of 125 class periods per school year. Schools may not spend any of their own funds or use any personnel, equipment, or resources to facilitate the program. The measure prompted the Satanic Temple to announce its Hellion Academy of Independent Learning may soon be available in Oklahoma. It says while it believes public schools should be free of religious influence, the new law allows Oklahoma to grant credit for classes taught by the Satanic Temple and welcomes its members to invite its program to their local schools. For State Impact, I'm Beth Wallace.
Oklahoma Senator David Bullard wanted to hear from healthcare providers about the transition to managed Medicaid. State Impact's Jillian Taylor reports at a Wednesday gathering, those providers said the transition has been a disaster.
Providers discussed challenges with receiving payments for the services they provide under the state's new Medicaid system, where insurance companies are coordinating medical care. Dr. Kenyon Whittington, an OB/GYN in Durant, says he's received a little over $2,000 in claims since the transition began April 1st.
Do you know any businesses that would stay open for 2 or 3 months serving people and not receiving payment and are unsure if they will ever see payment or when it will occur?
Oklahoma Healthcare Authority Public Information Officer Emily Long says the agency is working to ensure the transition is as smooth as possible for members and providers. For State Impact, I'm Jillian Taylor.
The legislative session is over, and lawmakers focused on everything from invasive plants to homemade food labels to donkey milk. OPMX's Anna Pope has more on what happened in the world of farming, ranching, and rodeos.
Funding for the Oklahoma State Penitentiary Rodeo is paused. 2 measures in the Oklahoma legislature would have allocated $8.3 million to repair and expand the arena. The Oklahoma Department of Corrections had designated $1 million to the effort. But earlier in May, Director Stephen Harp announced he would not seek the appropriation and asked for an interim study. Meanwhile, a new law that will go into effect November 1st aims to provide anonymity for producers on homemade food product labels. Under the measure, producers can register for a number through the Oklahoma Department of Agriculture, Food, and Forestry to put on their homemade food product labels. This would be used instead of a producer's name, phone number, and the address of where the product is produced. In Oklahoma City, I'm Anna Pope.
You'll find more news at our website, kgou.org, and on the KGOU PM News Brief podcast.
I'm Rachel Martin. You probably know how interview podcasts with famous people usually go. There's a host, a guest, and a light Q&A. But on Wildcard, we have ripped up the typical script. It's a new podcast from NPR where I invite actors, artists, and comedians to play a game using a special deck of cards to talk about some of life's biggest questions. Listen to Wild Card wherever you get your podcasts, only from NPR.